Good afternoon, Meramec Elementary. Hope everybody's had a fantastic week. It's been a great week here. It's hard to believe, but it is actually already April. I don't really know. Again, I know I mentioned this a few times, but it does still feel like not sure what's happened to the spring. What happened to the that winter time from December until to March, but it just seems like it's flown by this year with all the different weather things, snow days, spring breaks, all those things. It's just flown by. So it's hard to believe that we're really in our last couple months here of this school year. So wanted to take a few minutes today, talk about some of the things that have gone on this last week, but then also start to set up April. I know we got some big events and some different things coming up. So start off with, like I said, it's been a fantastic week. We had a lot of fun on Wednesday. Not really fun, but that winter that spring storm that came through, and keeping an eye on that. And then after school, we did have the sirens going off and some after school activities. That kept things interesting throughout that day. Throughout that day, as the kids were, very excited, a lot of nervousness and kind of talking about some of the storm things. So obviously those weather pieces definitely impact us, but really they did a great job. Everything got done, got taken care of. And I wanted to say thank you again to all the families that were here for choir, for chess club, for Kids Zone, everything after school on Wednesday, as we did shelter all the kids downstairs for a little while when the sirens went off, but the kids did a great job. We had staff that was here. Everybody jumped in and helped out. Parents were helpful and helped us, as we were some of them had to wait down there with us, a couple that, as we were signing kids out and trying to get in and out and some of those things. It was just, one of those things that can be a little hectic, but wanted to say thank you to everybody for that. And now we're just hoping to see that maybe it'll stay dry through recesses today, as we constantly seem to be dealing with some of that weather. But besides that, this week has been great. We've had, I've watched first graders who are in working on their writing, getting in depth and really going and talking about their favorite things, and really, really pushing their brains as they're thinking. I've seen fifth graders debating different practices and talking about, holding mock debates in the classroom, as they're talking about whether or not everyone should be getting a trophy, or whether it's just for the people who are winning those games, and what goes into some of those pieces. And it's been a lot of fun this week, is watching the kids as they really been pushing their thinking and learning. And then today we've also got our third grade who was going on a big field trip. They all got loaded up on their buses this morning, big charter buses this morning, and are heading to Jefferson City. So again, a lot of great things going on all the time as our kids are learning, growing, pushing, thinking, and making a big difference. So a couple things I did want to highlight as we get into April. First and foremost, next Tuesday, there will not be any school next Tuesday for our students. Staff are here for a professional development day, but it is also an election day. So a lot of times on those election days, we do have students stay at home. We use those as PD days so that we don't have kids in the building if some of our buildings happen to be used as polling places and things like that. And we would so there'd be people coming in and out of the buildings all day. So a lot of times we do partner those things together, and that includes this Tuesday. I know it's a little weird having no school on Tuesday, so we'll try to make sure that we give plenty of communication about reminding people there will not be any school this coming Tuesday. Also coming up around the corner, besides that, on April 17th, we're having a Meramec Day of Service. We'll hear more about that. We'll be sharing more information regarding that. But essentially, at some point in time throughout that day, all of our classes, all of our students will be participating in some sort of service activity, whether that's on our grounds, looking to make a greater, doing something for the greater community as well, but finding a way just to take some time and give back and feel like and let them see and know that they can also contribute, and starting to set up that habit of of contributing to something bigger than themselves. So April 17th will be our day of service. April 18th, there's also no school that day. And then we also have on April 25th is a big PTO event. So at the very end of the month, we'll be getting ready for May with our international night. So we're excited about that. It's one of those events that we have every year. We get to see all the different communities, all the different cultures that come into Meramec and help make us what we are. And that'll be taking place on April 25th. So again, you'll get a lot of communication about all these things if you haven't started seeing them already, but just wanted to make sure we're putting that on your radar. Hope you guys all have had a great week, and we'll look forward to seeing everybody here on Monday.